I'm Marianne Lenhart, an education business expert with Sexy Hair. And today I'm going to be showing you how to cut our capricious haircut. It can be done in a short, fashion, or medium, or long. And what we want to do with this is divide her head up into 4 sections to start off with. We want to find her natural part, and we want to find that and then divide that off to the back of the ear on both sides. So then I've got her natural part on the left, so I have one whole section over here parted and put in a bun. And then the left side I've done the same thing, where I've just taken the rest of that from the back of the ear down and made that into a parting. And then in the back, from the crown down to the occipital bone, I have that divided in half. And then all of this I have down, and this is where I'm going to determine my length. Now when we're doing our haircuts with Sexy Hair, we use our structure motion movements, and that is where we lean into the haircuts. We bend down and lean in. So we're either leaning in on the left or we're leaning in on the right. When we're cutting down, we want to lean into the left, and when we're cutting up, we want to lean into the right and follow the head shape. And then we're going to be using our incising movements and a lot of different other movements that we'll be teaching you on the way. So what I want to show you here is we're going to determine the length of her haircut. So I want to stand directly behind her. In this one section, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide her in half, down the middle. So I want to find that. And this one, I'm just going to put this over here for a second. And this, I'm going to be laterally directing to the middle. So I want to lean in with my left foot forward. And I'm going to be pulling this hair a little bit from this side and a little bit to the center. We're going to be making that real clean looking. And I'm going to cut her right down there at the base, close to her shoulders. I want to point cut so that I can get lots of texture down there and not have a real solid line. So I'm just going to be point cutting to get like a really nice look there. Double check it, see if there's any spots that you want to clean up. Now I can deep point cut this or shallow point it. It just depends on the texture that I want. Then on this left side, I'm going to be bringing that back and laterally directing that to the middle, straight down. Find my guide over here, and then point cut this side too, so that I have a straight and even line at 0 elevations coming all the way across. Make sure that in the middle they've met well together. So that's going to determine my length for the whole haircut. Now what I want to do with this is I want to divide this section in half to about the 50% point mark between here and there. This, I just want it to drop down. On this side, on each side, I'm going to make 3 subsections, so a total of 6 subsections going all the way across. So this one I'm going to twist, and then the middle one twist, and this center one twist it. Then I'm going to go over here and do the same thing. Go to that 50% point mark. Divide this by a third, twist it. Divide this by a third, twist it, and divide that one by a third. So you can see now that I have 6 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I want to do is I'm going to start on my right first, because that's the direction that I'm used to going. And I want to bend in, pull this so that I can see good here. This time I'm cutting up, so I'm going to be leaning forward from the right. And I'm going to find this guide down here where I left off. So it's right there. And what I want to do is I want to point cut at 90 degrees, coming straight back at 90. So that I have this movement that's going to swing down towards the face. Because when we're done with this cut, we want it to be kind of taken in at the nape a bit, and then have a nice swing motion towards the front. Now this one, I'm going to be bringing that back, laterally directing it to the back of the head again. Find my point over here, where I want it to be for length. And I'm going to be point cutting in there again at 90 degrees, straight up from the head. And this is going to give me some nice fluid movement without having it all hang down there at that same length. And find my point again. And point cut just a little bit here is all I need to do on that one. Then over on this side, I'm going to be doing the same thing. Here's my section over here. And I'm going to be bringing this one, laterally directing it to the middle again. I'm going to find my guide down here. And I'm going to be point cutting in there to get that movement that I want. Then this one's going to be the same way, laterally directing it at 90 degrees. Looking for the guide in the middle. And point cutting. I can deep point cut this as deep as I want to, depending on how much hair and how much texture I want. Then this is that last subsection over here. So I'm going to be bringing that at 90 degrees, laterally directing it back towards the middle. Find my guide down here again. And point cutting just a little bit. So you can see that I've got some nice fluid movement here. So it's not all just laying down there at one length. Then this next back section that we have divided into two parts, we're going to divide that into thirds. So we're going to figure out about a third of it, which would be about right here. And go straight across to that. And then the rest of this I want to pin up. Keeping that out of the way. Same way with this side. Taking about a third, meeting it in the middle again. Now if I want to keep my model, her hair wet, I would just spray again. Now on this subsection, what we're going to do is we're going to divide this into 5 pieces. 5 subsections. So we're going to take the middle, and that's going to be a subsection. And then I'm going to divide it over here and make that into a subsection. And this one, and then 2 more over here. Now on this part of the haircut, what we're going to do is we're going to be coming from a shorter point on the top and bringing it out to a longer point in the back. And this is really going to give it some interesting movement. So we want to bring this straight back. Now you can see where I was before with that movement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be coming in at that spot, cutting it, and then making it just a little bit longer over the top of it. So I want to be aware of where that section falls out. So it was about right in there. So I'm going to grab that again so I can see where that's at again. So see, it's right there. So what I want to do is I'm going to incise just a little bit to make that section a tad bit longer. Pretty cool movement, isn't it? Now this one, the same thing. We're going to always over direct this back towards the middle. And there that short section is again. Right there. And we're going to start at the top with that. So it's about right in there. We're going to incise to make that go over the top of that so it's a little bit longer. My head doesn't want to stay on today. Same way with this one. We want to bring that back. There's that short piece down there. So we're only going to be hanging out with this subsection right here. There's that shorter piece. So I want to take and start there and make this go just a tiny bit longer. So that completes this side doing that to it. This is a fun in and out movement. We already did the middle, so we only have 2 sections left over here. So this one, there's that short piece again. We're going to laterally direct this back to the middle. Find where that was. And then we're going to cut and leave that just a little bit longer. Incise, incise, incise. And now this last one, we're going to do this again to it. Incise, incise, incise. So that gives it some really fun texture that's going to kick it up a notch and put some extra inside layers into it, so it gives it lots of movement. Then with this next area, we're going to split this in 2 now, because basically we're going for a second third. There's the second third of this section, so we're going to still keep this one up here. And then we're going to take this one and do the same thing again. Clip this one back up here. Now we're going to do the same thing again on this one, but it's not going to come out the same length or anything. It's going to be like another stair step on top of that last one. So we have 5 sections again. So go for the middle. Split this in 2. And then 2 over here again. So with this middle now, here we are, and here's where we ended last time, or where we began last time. So that is going to be our guide. I can see a little piece of it right there. So what I want to do is I want to start there and incise down to make that piece on top a little bit longer. Same way with over here. There's my guide right in there. I can see it right in the middle. It's starting to fall out right now. So I want to take this and trim that down, incising it until I get that a little bit longer again. Laterally direct this section back. Standing back here so that I can see the bigger picture. I can see my guide there. I'm going to laterally direct this back and start incising down to leave that little piece again on the end. Now over here, I've got 2 sections over here because I already did 1, 2, 3. We have a total of 5 sections. So right here, there's my shorter piece again. So what I want to do is pull this out, and I'm bending down with my left leg forward and coming around her head so I can see what I'm doing, and leaving that a little bit longer again. Back out at 90 degrees in this last section, laterally directing it back. There's my section to start, and incising this down to a little bit longer. Now I'm going to do this one more time with this one last section at the top. Same thing again, where we're going to have sections again. This time I'm just going to divide it into 3 because this is a small area. 3 radial sections. So here's that middle section. I'm pulling that straight out from the head, checking to make sure that that's where I'm at. There's my guide right there. I don't know if you can see it through my fingers with the dark hair, but I have my guide right in there, and that's where I'm going to start incising and making that longer. Then while I'm here on this left side, I'm just going to go ahead and do this one, directing it back And there's my shorter piece right there.